Good morning. My name is Derek Arrowood. I'm honored to be the superintendent of Hamilton Heights School Corporation. Today is Wednesday, October 19th, 2022. This is volume 84 of your monthly update. Rodney Freeman is the executive producer, director, magic maker. He's going to have stuff fly in and out of our monthly update. We are located today in the Hamilton Heights Student Activity Center. We want to thank Dory Hostetler and Julie Davis and Mike Jenkins and Stan Renner and Arnett Cooper. They served on a committee to kind of outfit this place, and we've made this into kind of a really cool show-off place about the history of Hamilton Heights School Corporation. It starts with the schools that fed into Jackson Central, which is Arcadia, Atlanta, and Cicero, and Jackson Central opened in the early 40s, and then in 1957 this building was built, and then in 1965 Hamilton Heights consolidated with Walnut Grove and White River Township. So there's history and pictures of all the schools and some artifacts that we've got stored and some showcases, and then all about Hamilton Heights. So really cool stuff. Hope you can come to our building and see it. If you want to, just call me up and send me an email. I'd love to show it to you. We also host some events in here. Our school board meetings are in this building now, so if you get a chance to come to a school board meeting, you can check that out. So Hamilton Heights Student Activity Center, awesome work, really cool stuff. Number one, I want to brag about Caylee Provence. Caylee Provence is a 4th grade student at Hamilton Heights Elementary School, and Caylee wanted to help other kids, so she worked with our special ed director at the time, Kim Lucky. Our new special ed director is Rebecca Nicholas, and one of our special ed teachers, Julia Abu Arafa, and her teacher, Kim Lodge. And Caylee goes down once a week and works with our special ed students, and just as a peer mentor. She hangs out with some special needs students, and it's really cool, and Caylee's taking some friends down with her. So Caylee saw a need for some of our special ed students to have some interaction with general ed students, and she kind of took the bull by the horns and suggested it. She's just a 4th grader. She thought of this when she was in 3rd grade. So way to go, Caylee Provence. We're proud of you. You're a great kid, and she's bringing some friends with her too. So really cool stuff going on at the elementary school. Number 2, we don't brag a lot about sports, but I'm really proud of our 8th grade volleyball team. They won the Mid-Indiana Conference, which is it's Hamilton Heights, and then it's a lot of Howard County schools. And this 8th grade team has won that conference tournament 2 times in a row. So they won it at 7th graders and 8th graders. So great kids doing great things. And what I really love about this 8th grade volleyball team, crazy smart, excellent grades, a bunch of straight A kids on that team, and there's some athletes that are going to be really good when they get to Coach Ward's team at the high school next year. Number 3, I want to brag about some of our high school students. We take a 6th grade trip to Bradford Woods every year. The last couple years we've taken some high school students. So we took 22 juniors and seniors, and they kind of act as counselors and work with the 6th grade students. Phenomenal role models. Whitney Gray is a big part of this as the assistant principal at the high school. Tim Weber kind of coordinates the Bradford Woods trip from the middle school aspect. And Bradford Woods told us, and I quote, that this was by far the greatest group of high school counselors they'd ever seen. Hamilton Heights. That's awesome. Way to go, Whitney Gray. Way to go, those juniors and seniors. Rodney's going to flash a picture of those kids up doing great things, not just here at school, but when we get those out-of-school experiences, they enhanced it for those 6th graders, and I'm sure had a great experience himself. Number 4, some of you may know, Eric Fisher was our former construction teacher at the high school. Eric has left us to work in industry now, doing great things, promoting high school education to construction companies. And his legacy lives on with a guy named Kevin Sheets. Kevin replaced Mr. Fisher in that role, and Kevin's doing some really cool stuff. So a couple things you'll see that Rodney will flash up behind me. First, we had some folks from Shield Sexton come. President Kevin Nash came with a group of guys that work for Shield Sexton, which is a construction company. And I actually got to go over and watch them, and our kids are in that construction class, which are made up of kids that some will go directly into construction jobs and construction trade jobs. Some will go off to college and university to become construction managers. So it's a pretty eclectic mix of kids, but these guys were mesmerized by the guys who were doing the work at Shield Sexton, and they were talking about some of the projects they were doing and the cool experiences they've had in building buildings in Indianapolis and in Carmel and some really the Palladium and things like that. So really neat experience for our kids. Another thing that we've been doing with that construction class is our kids learn to drive the stuff. So we have these hot rod simulators that Mr. Fisher helped us get, kind of like a video game that you can use to be a backhoe or to be a dirt mover or to drive a forklift or all that kind of stuff, and you practice on that. And then we work with McAllister who makes those equipment, and they bring it to our sandbox, which is located over by our maintenance garage on 256th Street. And those guys get to actually drive those things under the supervision of the McAllister trainer. So really cool stuff. They're digging holes, and those kids are going straight into industry and making a lot of money. One of our students that graduated a couple years ago actually started his own excavation business, is making a lot of money doing that. So thanks to Mr. Fisher, who set that legacy, and thanks to to Kevin, who's doing that right now, and continuing that really cool stuff that he's doing. And the last thing Mr. Sheets wanted me to remind you was there's another company that we've been working with, Reith Riley, and they do asphalt. And we had a student that got to do an internship there last summer named Dakota, who's also on our football team. So there's a link to a video you can check out from Reith Riley about Dakota's experiences doing that. Finally, number 5, we did a really cool thing in Arcadia. And when I say we, I mean Mrs. Myers, our high school art teacher, and Mrs. Goodman, our middle school art teacher. They took some art club kid student and worked with Duke Energy and Dagny Zupin, who's the Duke Energy representative, and they painted crosswalks, which is by the water park that's in downtown Arcadia. So really, if you get a chance to drive down downtown Arcadia, we created some crosswalks with fish, and there's an octopus in there and some starfish, and the kids actually did the painting. It was really artistic work that from an artist in Noblesville named Mr. Peterson, who's also an architect. So thanks to Mrs. Goodman and Mrs. Myers for taking the extra effort to do that. Thanks to Duke Energy for sponsoring that and paying for all the paint and all that kind of stuff. And thanks to those students who did all the awesome work on that stuff. My name is Derek Arrowood. I'm honored to be the superintendent at Hamilton Heights School Corporation. Make it a great day or not. The choice is yours.